National Preparedness Month, day 29. Some of y'all said yesterday, you didn't show us the sheep. We love seeing the sheep. Ta-da! Sheep. What are we talking about today? Well, post-nasal drip and the 4 P's of preparedness. People, provision, protection, and purpose. Now, I've done 100 videos on these 4 P's on Patreon, and so I'm going to breeze through these things today. Again, your homework today will be to inventory these things. Bear, I hate it when you give me homework. Well, I'm not here to just hang out, okay? Like, if there's not a value exchange, we're all just wasting our time. We're masturbating. Entertain me, Bear. Go watch a Garand Thumb video, okay? I'm not, that ain't me. I'm not here to entertain necessarily. I'm here to educate to the best of my ability based on my real world experience. People, provision, protection, purpose. First thing you need is people. The loner ain't gonna cut it in SHTF. We talked about this ad nauseum. Humanity has, for eons, orchestrated itself around the concept of tribe. Groups of people working together in concert to accomplish goals that benefit the whole, okay? However your tribe may be, whether it's your family clan with a C, all you weirdos out there, your family clan, or it's your identity as a nation, right? America. It's a tribe. It's tribalism. Or your sports team, or your church, right? It's tribalism. That's a good thing because tribes are aligned along ideological alignment. We all agree that I can't even say this with a straight face, that the Cowboys are the best football team or whatever, right? We all agree that we are non-denominational evangelicals or Torah observant Christians. We all agree that Schmedlap, Indiana is the best town on planet Earth. Or we all agree in the ideal of American exceptionalism, right? Tribes. You need people. And I know many of y'all are going to put in the comments, but Bear, I can't find people. Everybody sucks. I have trust issues. There's nobody around me. With all due respect, do better, try harder, find people. You have to make the effort, right? You reap what you sow. If you sow bullshit, guess what you're going to reap, right? There's nobody around me. Move. We did. Multiple times. Or the people that I moved to this place and I thought the people here were going to be good, but they're not. Research. Do your research first. Visit an area before you pick up your entire family and move all the way across the country. Got some cracked corn on the chest rig today. That's special. Pretty good. So people. Even if people is you and 3 other families, you and 2 other families, good, start there. Because eventually, you and those 2 or 3 other families will become the cadre that introduce more and more people to your group, your team, your tribe, your mag. And no, those terms are not synonymous, but I'm using those terms to be relatable because depending on where you are in this preparedness journey, you may just have a team, you and 2 other families. You might not have a MAG, which is a mutual assistance group, which are groups of teams working together in concert to achieve a common goal. You might not have a tribe. A tribe is a large group of people all working together towards a common goal, right? Your community are those who are around you. You need people. Many hands make light work, right? And 2 people is not twice as effective as 1. They're about 3 to 5 times as effective. 4 people is not 4 times as effective as 1 person. They're a dozen times as effective, right? 150 people, Dunbar's number, are infinitely more effective than a single person because it's not a linear progression. It's compounding. It's exponential. So, And this is biblical. It is not good that man should be alone. I shall make him a helpmeet. So you need people. You need to be working on developing your teams. And again, even if your team is small currently, your vibe attracts your tribe, right? So the more good that you guys do, the more people are going to see that and want to be a part of what you're doing. Who amongst you shall not rejoice in their small beginnings? Book of Jeremiah, I believe. So rejoice in your small beginnings, even if it's a small team. Put a small team together. Identify what's the mission, what are we trying to do, how are we trying to do it. We talked in a previous video about mission statement. And then do it. Courses of action, strategic initiatives that support the mission. What are we going to do? How are we going to do it? And then do it. And it's basic stuff. You know, Bob needs firewood to get through the winter. Cool, go split firewood. Well, that doesn't seem like very preparedness-y. Well, Bob's not going to freeze to death, so that matters. And you're building unit cohesion, context with one another while you do those things. So do stuff together, train together, do work days together, plant each other's gardens, have a butchering class, teach about herbal remedies and wild edibles and foraging and sheep and hay and small engine mechanics and weapons handling and convoy classes and how to use a ham radio. Like it, guys, this stuff writes itself. Like just do it, okay? So people, provision. We've talked ad nauseum about provision. We've talked ad nauseum about all these things. Provision, these are your stores, right? 3-month working pantry, 1-year long-term food storage, ammunition for your firearms, spare batteries, lamps, candles, tents, you know, wood stove stuff, and all the stuff. This is not an excuse to just go buy all the stuff. You need all the stuff, but you need to know what you need, and you learn that by doing. Hose time. So you learn what you need by doing, okay? So make sure your provisions are deep and well stocked. This ideological alignment with your people, right? This gets back to that. What are we actually preparing for? Because basic preparedness will cover a myriad of issues, right? Something that Pastor Joe Fox of Viking Preparedness talks about a lot. Being basically prepared. Oh no, winter storm, good to go. Oh no, hurricane, good to go. Tornado, good to go. Whatever. Interruption in service, essentially. You're talking about a few days to a few weeks, in some cases a few months. I know that's unfathomable for some people. But if the grocery store is destroyed, where are you going to buy groceries from? When the power goes out, hospitals don't take patients unless they're critical. All of the power, like literal electrical power, and all of the staffing, the personnel, the resources, all go to the ICU. That's essentially what happens, in my experience, when the power goes down. But they have backup generators, yes, but those backup generators will not run the entirety of these massive buildings that are hospitals. So all that power goes to the ICU. So unless you're critical, they don't want to see you, right? So the system shuts down. Police and firefighters, EMS don't roll their vehicles because they don't have commo when a storm first hits. And if they can't ensure the safety of their personnel, they don't send them into the field. Which means for you, you need to be able to effect those services and have those goods now, so that if even for a moment the system collapses, society goes away, you can still endure. So are you preparing for that, an interruption in service, or are you preparing for the system to go away? We are preparing for the system to go away. Now, if it never does, I still experience an incredibly high quality of life by living the way that I do, because I get to carry rifles and have sheep on my own land and my neighbor's land and get together and fellowship and worship and spend time together and eat real food and do real meaningful work and, you know, high quality of life simply as a byproduct of being prepared. Imagine that. So your provision should be able to address whatever you think is the most likely scenario for you to have to deal with preparedness. Again, whether that's a winter storm, interruption in service, or societal collapse. Protection. Oh, well, good morning to you, sheeper. You ever seen a sheep sneeze? Interesting. That's the one that's not been eating as well, and she's got her tail hiked. So she's probably going to be dropping a baby here in the near future. It's good. Babies. These are Katahdin sheep. Many of y'all have asked, and they're prone to dropping twins, which is one of the reasons we like them. They have they cycle about every 8 months. So like they've got like a 5-month gestation period, and they're in estrus about every 8 months. And so you get 3 lambings every 2 years, but they drop doubles. Usually, their first time around, they'll drop a single, and then after that they drop doubles. And so that means per ewe, you're getting approximately 6 lambs every 2 years, or 3 lambs per year. So that's good stuff. It's good to spin up a flock. Give it a few years, you get a good flock. I think the most we've ever had at one time was 38. And I currently have 14. 10 of those are bred ewes. And so that means when they all lamb, I can expect another 20 lambs. So I'll go from 14 to 34 pretty quick, and they're all coming into lambing season. Sheep math, just a brief aside for you. But it gets back to provision, doesn't it? Yeah. You can go from 14 to 34 pretty quick. Which one of the things that we do is we call it the Hebrew Starter Pack. We like to give away a ram and 2 or 3 ewes to our brethren to get them started, because I can't feed or eat all of these sheep. What an awesome problem to have, which gets back to people and community, right? So there's layers to this. Ogres are like onions, onions have layers, right? And bears and ogres aren't far off from one another. Protection, the third P. This is the one that most people focus on in their early stages of their preparedness journey. What rifle should I buy? What optic should I put on it? What's the best weapons like? What loading do you like? 55, 62, 69, 77 grain, 5.56. Should I get a 300 blackout? What do you think about 308 battle rifles? Do I need plate carriers? What's that chest rig? What, blah, 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 blah. What's the best pistol for SHTF? The one that you have and can shoot. What's the best rifle? The one that you have and can shoot, right? So protection should be self-explanatory. Unfortunately, it's not, because too many people watch too many YouTube videos and take advice that's not relative to them. We talked about military context a couple of videos ago. And while there's a lot of good lessons that can be learned from the military and from those who have served in the military, none of us are soldiers. And I would submit that what you're going to be doing is if you have to affect security for you and your people, is going to look a lot more like guerrilla warfare than conventional military tactics, because none of us have Uncle Sugar footing the bill for what we're doing, okay? I don't have $1 billion budget. If I had $1 billion budget, oh my, yeah. Just wait if Bear ever hits the Powerball. Things are going to get interesting. But I haven't. And it's not a strategy anyway, right? I'd rather make a Powerball payday by earning, by the sweat of your brow ye shall eat, rather than playing scratch-offs and, buying Powerball tickets. That doesn't mean that I don't. The Powerball is $700 million. I'll throw a $20 bill at that. Sounds good. You know how much good works we could do with $700 million? I don't have to worry about how I'm going to fund Caleb House at that point, right? But I digress. Again, as is my want. Protection. You need people to affect security. There's 2 main things that people are going to be doing when they come together. Militant farmer concept, right? Producing food, which is labor intensive, and affecting security, which is labor intensive. If, let's just say, we have a small group of people and we've decided that we want 2 guys on security during the day and 2 guys on security during the night. Well, that's 4 people full time. And that's just the security element. So who's their QRF? Who's their backup, right? Double that. That's now 8 people. And all they're doing is security. See, security goes back to people. The protection aspect of this. Let's say 8 people. We got 8 people. Cool. 2 fire teams. How well do you work together? How well trained are you? What are your standards when it comes to protection? Because you can have a rifle and a pistol. I bet everybody within the sound of my voice does. What are your standards for your group? What size shot group do you need to be able to produce with your rifle, at what distances, under what conditions, from what positions? Right? Because I need to know that these other 7 guys on the team are as good or better as I am, at a minimum, right? At a minimum, because we don't want any blue on blues. We don't want our guys shooting our guys. There's a lot that goes into that. And then you get into TTPs, tactics, techniques, and procedures, and your SOPs. What are the SOPs for your security team? So see, it's much bigger than you have a rifle, or I'm going to stockpile equipment for my people so that when SHTF comes, I can hand out rifles and plate carriers to all these people. Well, it's not the equipment that affects the protection. It's the people using the equipment that affects the protection. So if you're not actually training now with that stuff and building the automaticity, the skills, up drills, dry fire, right? From standing, kneeling, sitting, prone. We're just masturbating at this point, right? It's fruitless. Nothing good will come of this. And so audit your protection and put effort into that. We train, meaning me and my security guys, we train all the time, regularly. And even then, we still have fewer reps and sets than the United States military does, because they're PTing every day, right? A huge part of being in the military is training. Schools, go do this, go do that, learn how to do this, right? So again, we're not the military, and contextually, we're probably not going to be operating like the military. But one of the lessons we can learn from there is, hey, PT all the time and train, because that's going to inform how well protected you are. The last P is purpose. This gets back to your why. Why are you doing this? We've talked about this in mission statement. For us, for me, it's to maintain normalcy for the people that I love. That's my purpose. So what does normalcy look like for you? What are you actually trying to maintain? See, I want the right to be able to do this, and for my children's children to be able to do this forever and a day. I want to worship the way I see fit. I want to eat real food. I want to do meaningful work. I don't want anybody to infringe upon our rights to do that. And people will say, well, that's a federal issue, if not a state issue. Well, how many times have we talked about the fact that it's a grassroots movement, not a top-down movement? See, because what we tolerate, the politicians, will embrace. What we tolerate, they will embrace. How many times have I said, exercise your no muscle? No, I'm not doing that. And then if enough people say no, we don't have to deal with the top-down shenanigans of our ruling class, which, remember, they work for us, not the other way around. They work for us. We pay their bills. We pay their salary. They're supposed to represent us. But if you're farming out the responsibility of that representation to the person that makes you feel the best because of their campaign messages, you reap what you sow, right? Quit giving away that authority. Back to purpose. I want to maintain normalcy. Implied task here is establish normalcy. And that starts in the home. Your relationship with the father, the relationship with the son, the relationship with your spouse, the relationship with your kids, right? You get that right, and now all of a sudden you have some influence. You can lead the people around you, whatever that might look like. And now your impact is greater than your own home, in your community. And then as the community grows strong, you can impact greater circles around you, greater and greater and greater. And if you have a community that takes no shit, sooner or later you have a county and then a state that takes no shit. And then sooner or later you have a country that takes no shit. Now, I don't think that the country on a long enough timeline is going to matter very much anyway, because I firmly believe we are in the age of decline of an empire. That's a different video for a different time. But audit your 4 Ps, right? People. Who do you have around you? You are the conglomeration of the 5 people you spend the most time with every day, every week, every month. Those people should be as good or better than you are at whatever it is you're trying to do, because they will force you to become better by being around them. Personal growth, it's a huge thing. Stagnation sucks, right? There is no plateau. We're either going up or we're going down. Okay, so people, who's your crew? Provision, audit your provisions. What are you trying to survive? Is it a break in the system or systemic collapse? Do you have what you need in order to be able to survive that? Of all things, food, fuel, energy, water, commo, security, medical, etc., right? Protection. What's the actual plan? Who's involved? Who knows what? How well compartmentalized are we? Have we done an area study? Do we have an intel network? Yeah, protection. And then purpose. What's the why? And see, your why needs to encompass everybody else's why as well in order to support high ideological alignment. Because if you don't, if your why is individual, right, not collective, there won't be a collective to help you accomplish the why. It'll just be you. And I'm not talking about communism, socialism, fascism here. I'm talking about people voluntarily engaging with one another to do big, meaningful stuff together for the betterment of the whole. See, individuals find their purpose in strong groups, and strong groups don't exist without purposeful individuals. They feed one another. It's a beautiful balance. And it's messy. People are messy. This all gets back to people. People are messy. They're the best thing and the worst thing about life. But they're also worth it. Which, as I've said 100 times at least, you need to love the people you're doing life with. If you don't get along with the people you're doing life with now, you're definitely not going to get along with them when the balloon goes up. Ask me how I know. The 4 P's. People, provision, protection, purpose. Now, today's the 29th. We've got today and then tomorrow for National Preparedness Month. That means 2 things that are going to directly affect you. The first is, after the 30th, tomorrow of this month, I will probably no longer be doing these morning videos with y'all here on YouTube. If you like this style of video, this is what I do on Patreon, except it's even better because I'm answering your questions directly. Hey Bear, what do you think about Katahdin sheep for a homestead? How much water, how much grass, how much acreage? What do they weigh out when I butcher? And it's very pointed to you for the benefit of the whole classroom. We treat it like a consultancy. And so if you are enjoying this, if you see the value in this, you might consider Patreon. Now I understand, times are tough. Many people don't have a lot of money right now. Now Patreon's $5 a month. If you don't have $5 a month, you can help the channel by doing the thumbs up thing and sharing these videos with people you think need to see them. If you do have $5 a month, there's a link in the description of every video and live stream that you can follow to Patreon. There's a lot of value there. This is what we do there, but even better. The second way this affects you is after tomorrow, at sundown tomorrow, the National Preparedness Month promo at Refuge Medical will be over. So if you have yet to make the requisite purchases that you need to make from Refuge Medical, if you choose to, I'm not here to twist your arm. If you choose to, today and tomorrow, I would recommend you make those purchases because the promo will have concluded for the month. Now, I will roll that beautiful bean footage. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the promo that ARFCOM, our friends at area15.com, put together for Refuge Training. I'll put that at the end of this video. It's a minute long. And then I'll roll the beautiful bean footage. And if you choose to engage, bless you. Thank you for supporting our American-made small businesses. And if not, thank you. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of the Bear Nation. Best audience on planet Earth. Audit your 4 P's. People, provision, protection, purpose. Y'all have a happy day.
Breathe! Wiggle. Oh! Is anybody else hurt, Bob? Oh! Let's go! Oh! Hurry up, you're dying! Let's go! Breathe! Right here, come on!
Right up your ass.
Get in, loser. We're doing medical shit.
Oh! Where you hit? Go! Get behind the first pallet!
I need you to exhale, okay?
Hey, somebody! Come on! Oh! Get to it! Oh! Come on! Got any kids? How many kids you got?